Meanwhile, number 9 Wake Forest just keeps on winning despite, if not in spite of, very little national fanfare. The Demon Deacons face North Carolina this week as the top team in the ACC and face the real possibility of finishing the season unbeaten as ACC champions. Here's the head coach.
You really can't worry what the perception is. We're in this position because we're playing well. Our players are very focused and very locked in. And, this all becomes a good problem when you get ranked and there's a little bit more of a target on your chest. And, again, we just need to control the controllables. And that's our preparation, our effort, our focus. And so far, we've done a great job with that.
Right now, Wake is a 2.5-point underdog against USC, according to Caesars Sportsbook. It would be the 4th matchup this season where an AP top 10 team was an underdog against an unranked opponent. And then those 4 matchups is the most in any season since 1978 when the FBS and FCS split. Sam, I started to say, this team could win out, right? Which means they'd be unbeaten. If they end up winning the ACC championship, there's that. And they could still miss out on the college football playoff. I mean, that's just where they are. But what do you see or think of when you look at Wake Forest?
Yeah, well, when I look at Wake Forest, I think of 2 things. Number one, an explosive offense under Sam Hartman. That offense is unbelievable, right? They put up 70 points against Army, right? They're putting up 45 points against other teams. That's what I see on offense. But then defensively, I see a lot of weak spots. Speaking of the Army game, they gave up 56 points when they played Army. And so when I look at that team, I say, okay, defensively, they struggled big time against Army. They struggled big time against guys like Brennan Armstrong, giving up a lot of yards running and passing the ball against dual threat quarterbacks. And then I see that and I get a little bit perturbed or frustrated or concerned. But then I also know that they can put up points with the best of them. And so I look at that side as well, right? They can put up points with the best of them. And so those are 2 things that I see with this team. Obviously, they're tested, right? They're going to be tested. UNC coming up. And you play teams like Clemson. You play NC State, which is 6-2. And so they're going to be tested. If they win out, I think they'll be fine.
Sam, I love Wake Forest. I know you do too. I mean, it's a great story, fantastic offense. Sam Hartman at quarterback should be in the Heisman discussion until you start talking about them as a playoff team, because that defense, like you mentioned, Sam, just isn't ready for primetime. You mentioned they gave up 56 to Army. UConn held Army to 52. Ball State held Army to 16. But Army scored 56 against Wake Forest. So that's just one opponent for Wake Forest. I know it's a triple option offense. You can get behind that. But Wake Forest, I think, needs to be judged for who they are. And if you start comparing them to Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Oregon, those kinds of teams, I don't think they're ready for that. And they could be the first Power 5 conference champion who is undefeated to miss the playoff because of that.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.